Hi, Connor Gunn here from Lethbridge News Now. Welcome to the weekly from LNN, where we go over some of the biggest stories from this past week and what you can look forward to this weekend. Just before we get into this week's serious stories, I have a very cool, no pun intended, story near the end of today involving the polar plunge with Lethbridge police officers and a member of City Council. Stay tuned for that, but first off, here are our major stories of the week. A Lethbridge man has been charged in the city's first homicide of the year. 35-year-old Jade Trotter is charged with second-degree murder, break-and-enter, and has been remanded into custody. At around 1:18 Monday morning, police responded to an apartment in the 1200 block of 4th Avenue South after a report came out of someone screaming for help. They discovered the body of 65-year-old Glenn Lofthouse, who is known to the suspect. A dispute allegedly occurred and a weapon has been located. RCMP confirmed the couple found deceased in their home last Friday in the Crowsnest Pass died as a result of a murder-suicide. Findings from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner conclude the death of a 40-year-old female victim was homicide, while the 55-year-old male died by suicide. The investigation determined there will be no charges. As well, no information will be provided about the identities of the couple or the circumstances surrounding their deaths. The Alberta government has announced a new one-time payment of $1,200 for critical workers. The federal-provincial program will see $465 million go to 380,000 Albertans in the private and public sectors, including those in healthcare, social services, education, and an array of other retail and essential services. Employers will have to apply on behalf of their workers, and applications for the critical worker benefit will be open February 17th to March 19th. Some of the COVID-19 restrictions Alberta introduced in December were relaxed on Monday. Restaurants were open for in-person dining and one-on-one workouts with a fitness instructor were resumed. Sports and entertainment-related activities can resume in schools, and youth will be able to take part in lessons and practices for team-based minor sports and athletics. Indoor gatherings are still banned, and outdoor get-togethers are capped at 10. Alberta's cold snap continues as another 11 low-temperature records were broken Wednesday. In southern Alberta, that includes Bow Island, Cardston, Claresholm, Milk River, Pincher Creek, and Tabor. Not including wind chill, these areas were between minus 34.2 and minus 36. Since the start of the cold snap, Environment Canada has recorded 64 new low-temperature records in the province over the span of just 3 days. The government of Alberta is reinstating the 1976 coal policy. It was rescinded last spring, a decision that sparked numerous calls of concerns from Albertans. Monday's announcement includes reinstating the 4 coal categories which dictated where and how coal leasing, exploration, and development could occur. Minister of Energy Sonia Savage added that a new, more modern policy will be enacted following consultations with the public. Some Lethbridge police officers took part in this year's polar plunge. Surely it was entertaining to watch and for a good cause. Constable Braylon Higgins said they would normally be jumping into Henderson Lake, but this year jumped into freezing ice-cold tubs of water.
So this is the 10th year that we've done the polar plunge here in Alberta. So that's why it's called the Plunge X, and it has raised over $1 million in the last 10 years. So this year here, being everything with the social distancing and the COVID pandemic, we had to go virtually instead of having it at the lake.
Braylon and his council member brother, Blaine, hopped into the ice-cold tub one by one, along with Lethbridge Police Chief Shaheen Medizadeh. Medizadeh says he and his team at LPS are brave to take the plunge, but it's the least he could do for this cause.
It is brave, but not as brave as what we are doing it or who we are doing it for. Our special athletes and for Special Olympics. This is a little thing we can do to provide some support to them and for this important role that they also play in our community. So we are quite happy to be part of this, and I'm sure all the people involved, our officers, one of our members of our police commission, we are more than happy to do this for the community.
It's safe to say they definitely earned the reward of a hot tub afterwards. And on the weekend, you might notice packs of coyotes out hunting more often during the winter, and that could be intimidating to some. However, Jessica Deacon-Rogers with the Helen Schuler Nature Center said they're generally not aggressive towards humans. She said if you counter a pack, stop and watch what they're doing, then make yourself look bigger to scare them off. In the winter months, coyotes will most likely be hunting in large sources of food like injured deer and roadkill. Check out the story Sunday morning in the local section at lethbridgenewsnow.com. Those are just a few of the stories we've been covering this week. To stay up to date on the latest local and regional news, head over to lethbridgenewsnow.com or find us on the Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and on our Lethbridge News Now app. If you have any stories or topics you'd like us to follow, send us a message. And thanks for watching, and tune in next Friday for another edition of The Weekly with me, Connor Gunn. Have a great weekend.